Hello, I'm Pastor Howard Renker of the Bethel Christian Church in Bristol, Connecticut. And today I'd like to commend to you the ministry of Charles Ciepiel. Charles is a man who is called and gifted of God, both in raising up and encouraging young people in their gifts and callings, and also himself has a heart for the nations. You will be blessed if you put your support behind him as he ministers at the World Outreach Community, and the kingdom of God will be blessed also for his service in that field. God bless you and thank you for your time.
I can see the heavens open over me. Thank you, Lord, I can see.
God is in the business of connecting his children because he's a father.
I think that God does something when you're called to a relationship with people, or called to a person, or your hearts just kind of like are drawn to each other. And I think that when God does something like that, it's just very special.
God keeps bringing the same group of people into our lives at every stop.
Musicians, artists of all kinds.
My desire is to see people stop limiting God.
So I think that if you're called to like the very like hearts and like minds, then I think that more work can be done.
Let's take these gifts that he's given us. They're not much, but you know what? When God breathes on them, that's all he needs.
I say thank you, Lord.
I'm laying at your feet, my life, every part.
This is Christy Sorrow. God has used her musical gifts to bring heaven to the earth at the encouragement of her spiritual mentors, Charles and Jenny Ciepiel.
I started songwriting with them. He pulled it out of me, and he pulls it out of people. And it just was awesome to see the way God used him and Jenny. And they make you get out of your comfort zone and just really encourage you in the things that you do, and like it just causes you to develop.
Before I met Charles and Jenny, I had inside of me just, like a well, but I just had a lot of songs, a lot of dreams and inspiration, but never an ability to really walk it out practically.
Change me, 'cause I wanna be a walking revival for you.
My wife and I, we both are musicians, both grew up, involved in music and drama, but always had a hard time just knowing how to do it in the church, the right way. But when you get around somebody like Charles, there's just something about him that makes you just want to do something different and do something more real than just performing.
David and Brianna Cheek learned how to purposefully operate in their talents after God aligned them with Charles and Jenny.
Learning how to not perform and how to be exactly who God created us to be and not be ashamed of that, and then being able to walk that out, at a practical level was a big thing that they taught us, definitely.
Turn the hearts of the fathers to the hearts of the children. Turn the hearts of the children to the hearts of the fathers.
John Cava is my spiritual father. Him and his wife Joanne have made such an impact on Jenny and I. We've had the privilege of traveling all over the world with them while we were part of the Brownsville Revival.
After a season apart in different locations, God has called Charles back to his spiritual father's business. That business? The World Outreach Community with international missions pioneer John Cava.
World Outreach Community, it's been brewing on John Cava's heart here for the last several years. The vision I got a couple days ago was a man being shot from a cannon, like a human cannonball. That cannon is the love of God. And you know, we see Jesus soaring. He's the original human cannonball. He's soaring through the air, and we look up and we say, look how awesome, look how he gave himself away. Isn't that amazing? And Jesus looks down at us and he says, if you get in that cannon, you'll fly just as high. And I'll tell you, even greater things you're gonna do.
Mr. Cava just really has that pioneering missions movement spirit, and then Charles has just the desire to really raise up a radical worship and art movement, you know, in this generation. So those two things colliding is like the perfect answer to a typical person my age, because we see the religious system, we see that we don't want to do that, but then at the same time we know that we need each other, you know, and we need them in order to really see God's kingdom on the earth.
Creative arts giftings understood and put into action within a loving, supportive community. Out of this vision, God has birthed World Outreach Worship, the arts portion of the World Outreach Community.
Wherever we've been, it's always the same kind of people. People are very relational, but yet they're just very artsy, and so sometimes they don't really know where to kind of put themselves, like they can't find their niche. So it's about getting people like that, putting them in strategic places, whether it means locally or around the world.
Our niche happens to be worship, music, and the creative arts, and launching that to the nations.
I'm here to reach out to you tonight, God.
Moses said, how am I going to go? How are they going to know that you're with me? And God was just like, what's that in your hand? God, just almost to prove the point of whatever it is, I can use it. It wasn't about the rod. It was about the power of God. And so we happen to have paintbrushes and guitars, and that's what's in our hand, but yet it says that we limit the Holy One of Israel by our own fears and inhibitions. So my desire is to see those things broken so that people aren't limiting God. And then when they see, wow, look what God can do through my life when I stop limiting Him, it's a beautiful thing. Make my life a living sacrifice. Make my life, make it count for eternity, Lord. Make my life bring glory to your name. All I am, God, I surrender to your plans. Make my life